the NFL legend whose life ended in tragedy. His rise was incredible, but his end was something no one saw coming. Steve McNair was born on February 14, 1973, in Mount Olive, Mississippi. He grew up in a small home with his parents and 9 siblings, learning early what it meant to struggle. Steve excelled in multiple sports but fell in love with football. He wanted to play quarterback, not wide receiver, not running back, quarterback. But most Division I schools didn't offer that opportunity to a black quarterback in the early 90s. So he chose Alcorn State, an HBCU where he could play the position he believed he was born for. What followed was historic. McNair threw for over 14,000 yards and nearly 120 touchdowns in 4 years. He ran for over 2,000 yards and became one of the most dominant dual-threat QBs college football had ever seen. Scouts came from everywhere, trying to figure out how a small school QB was putting up numbers like a big-time prospect. In 1994, he finished 3rd in Heisman Trophy voting, the highest ever finish for a player from a Division I AA school. He also won the Walter Payton Award that year. The numbers were insane, but McNair was more than stats, he was special. In 1995, the Houston Oilers drafted him 3rd overall. He became the highest drafted black quarterback in NFL history at the time. When he first came into the league, he sat behind Chris Chandler, the same veteran who started over a young Michael Vick years later. But by 1997, Steve McNair was the guy. When the Oilers became the Tennessee Titans, he became the face of the franchise. He played through pain, torn ligaments, broken ribs, sprained ankles, and still suited up on Sundays. Teammates said he limped all week and balled out on game day. In 1999, he led the Titans to Super Bowl 34. They lost to the Rams by 1 heartbreaking yard. But McNair proved he belonged on the biggest stage. In 2003, he shared NFL MVP honors with Peyton Manning. That same year, he led the league in passer rating, despite playing through a series of painful injuries. He played 13 seasons in the NFL, 11 with the Oilers, Titans, 2 with the Ravens. He passed for over 31,000 yards and 174 touchdowns. He rushed for more than 3,500 yards and 37 touchdowns. He was selected to 3 Pro Bowls and respected by nearly everyone in the league. McNair wasn't just a quarterback, he was a warrior. Off the field, he was known as a family man and a quiet leader. He married Michelle McNair in 1997. They had 4 sons together. He stayed active in the Nashville community, ran youth football camps, and gave back to the people who supported him. But behind the scenes, things were complicated. In his final years, McNair was involved in a relationship outside of his marriage, with a 20-year-old woman named Sahel Jenny Kazemi. They were often seen together in public. He even shared a condo with her. Friends and family later said the relationship was rocky. Kazemi reportedly felt Steve was pulling away, that he wasn't as committed as she hoped. On July 2, 2009, she was pulled over for driving under the influence. Steve was in the passenger seat but wasn't arrested. 2 days later, it was July 4, Independence Day. But for McNair, it would be his last. That afternoon, he was found dead in the Nashville condo he shared with Kazemi. He had been shot 4 times, twice in the chest, twice in the head, while asleep on the couch. Kazemi was found dead nearby, with a single gunshot wound to the head. The gun was underneath her body. Police ruled it a murder-suicide. They believed Kazemi shot McNair in his sleep, then turned the gun on herself. They cited jealousy, financial stress, and fear of abandonment. She had purchased the gun just 2 days before. But the investigation left many people with questions. There was no suicide note. No clear warning signs in her behavior. Some of her friends claimed she was in good spirits and had future plans. Her ex-boyfriend said she didn't even know how to use a gun. Despite the doubts, the case was officially closed within days. But the story didn't sit right with everyone. Some believed there were inconsistencies in the evidence, in the timeline, in the investigation itself. To this day, no one else has ever been publicly named as a suspect. And no official effort has been made to reopen the case. Steve McNair was 36 years old. A quarterback, a husband, a father, a man who carried pain through every game and still delivered. His jersey number, 9, was retired by the Titans. He was inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame in 2020. And his legacy continues through his sons, who've grown into young men determined to write their own stories. But his death remains one of the NFL's most shocking tragedies. Not just because of how it ended, but because it ended so soon. Steve McNair gave everything to football. But the game doesn't protect its heroes once they walk away. He remains one of the toughest to ever play the game. And one of its most painful reminders of what even greatness can't outrun.